Designing planar transformers is made easy with PI Expert. To design your own power supply solution, you'll want to create a new design via PI Expert online with planar selected as the flyback transformer type. After finalizing our PI Expert or PI XLS design, inside the Magnetics Designer tab, we are shown our initial planar construction. Here we can visualize a cross-sectional constructional diagram, a bird's-eye top-down diagram for all PCB and winding layers, as well as electrical parameters for windings. Through each of these windows, we can then customize the design in every detail based on our specifications. First off, let's introduce margins into our design. This ensures sufficient fit yield when going into production. Introducing margins can be done by specifying them in the core/enclosure properties window. For this design example, I'd like to introduce a 0.1 millimeter margin. Let's move on to modifications on the secondary. An inspection of the dimensions view shows that our secondary uses 3-ounce copper and the thicker prepeg as a result. Let's try to optimize that by having a parallel split, which will allow us to roll back to a lower copper thickness. This can be done by clicking on any secondary winding layer and selecting parallel for the split parameter under the winding properties window. Changing the manual track width property in the winding properties allows us to specifically define the track width for the selected winding group and its splits. Let's do that for our secondary windings by increasing the track width from 3.367 millimeters to 5.4 millimeters. Our design is almost finished, but we still have a high fit factor to consider. In this design, I'd like to achieve that by decreasing the core thicknesses of the PCBs. This can be performed by clicking the desired PCB core layer and changing its PCB core thickness parameter under the core/enclosure properties window. In this example, I'll be decreasing the PCB core thicknesses from 4.36 millimeters to 0.25 millimeters. Note that this change only applies for the selected layer, and since I'd like to have a consistent stack up across all PCBs, I'll be making this change across all layers. Now that our design is finished, we can proceed with exporting our design into Gerber and set it for fabrication. To do this, let's go to the menu and hover over Gerber files. Our designer tool gives us the option to generate a single set of Gerber files for each PCB enclosure, or to create a finalized version for all enclosures in a single board if the design has a consistent stack-up across all boards. Select the desired configuration, click OK, and that's it. Now we have a complete planar design ready for manufacturing. To get started with your design today, please visit power.com.